This is March Madness. This is the March Madness podcast. Dude, we're gonna get into it.
People are going crazy about March Madness. I never we were just asking about it. I'll watch the games when it gets a little closer, like the Sweet 16, stuff like that. But people are
They
nuts
really
about it.
should honestly, they should turn NCRHA Nationals into the March Madness tournament. Why not?
That'd be sick.
That would
Yeah.
be sick. Well, anyways, welcome to the RD and Roller Show. Obviously, you heard the co-host over there, Ant Merrigan. I don't think I've ever introduced you as the co-host because we're both like the hosts of it.
That's what the
Uh,
AI told you to do.
yeah, the AI was in my mind telling me to call you the co-host. But anyways, let's get into it. The RD and Roller Show is back. Got a pretty cool episode going on. Gonna have got the Cup. Got Colby Collier coming onto the pod. But first, let's head over east. Let's talk to Ant. I know we were just talking some March Madness here. So what do you got
Yeah.
going in your neck of the woods?
I'm one finger loose now, so
Okay.
that's a good start. So it's recovering pretty good. We have this guy at the rink. His name's Tom Gagliano. We call him Gags, but he's like the rink nurse. Anytime someone gets hurt, they're like, "Yo, can you text Gags for me?" And like this poor guy just get like all these men's league like, "Yo, I pulled my groin. What do I do?" He's like, "Rest." Like he just gives you like,
Rest,
"What are you,
dog.
you idiot?" Like just rest. So I asked him last night. I was like, "What's up with my finger?" So I took off my little splint to show him, and he said it actually looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy about that. So Winter War's in sight. That's what I'm hoping for.
There you go. When's
So
Winter War? When Winter Wars adult is in
he's
April, right?
yeah, April 12th to the 14th at Marple.
Okay.
So I have 3 weeks about to get there, so I should be good. I've been like skating around, just like no stick, but it feels so weird to skate without a stick. Like it's so bizarre to me.
Like
You
weird
know what I mean?
balance and stuff. You're
Yeah,
like,
just
yeah.
yeah, it just feels weird. Like I don't know. So I
Like
just
people actually do this. They go to the skating center and
yeah,
actually skate
like
with nothing.
boring.
Like,
Yeah, like
the fuck
boring.
are you
But
doing?
I like grabbed the lefty from the one of the guys so I can hold it with my opposite hand, like my as a top hand, and just like kicking the, how you do with the goal, you kind of put the
Yeah.
stick against your knee and fling it. So I was just doing that for a little bit just to get me to do something. I'm bored
You
as
can
hell at this
ref,
point.
dude. It's not like you
I was
couldn't
thinking
ref.
about it, but like the guys are maniacs, you know what I mean? In men's league, like I don't need some dude missing a face off and smacking my finger or something. So I'm just gonna just do what I got to do, run the league instead. So, what
I
about
hear
you?
that.
What's going on in your neck of the woods? Is it
March
snowing still?
Madness, dude.
Yeah,
This is the year of sadness as being a Duke fan. So I'm probably gonna get a lot of haters because I know a lot of people don't like Duke, but I'm a Duke
you're a
fan.
huge Duke guy, right?
Big Duke guy. I lived in North Carolina, so big Duke guy over here. But they usually just let me down. It's never like really, they have a couple national championships. We have five now, but it's just year after year. You just have too many high hopes. My bracket is already filled out, Duke to the top, without even like pretty much filling the rest of it out. So, but watching some Duke versus Vermont here, first round, and then
All right.
that's pretty much it. Pi
That should
ended.
be a win, right? That should be a win, right? Duke versus Vermont. That
You
should be a
never
win.
know, dude. You never know. You
All
just
right.
you really you never know. But yeah, so since Pi ended, not a lot of hockey. I know we got a couple roller tournaments coming up. One tournament I kind of do want to shout out first is the Colorado Cup. We're going to be kind of involved with that too. I know the Demon Dogs are going to be playing, but just it's a local tournament here starting up. Had one last year as well too. I believe it was 2 weeks after our Mile High Showdown, but that was kind of the point of the Mile High Showdown to get hockey going back here in Colorado. And now we got a tournament series here called the Colorado Cup, which is huge.
Perfect.
It's by one of my buddies, Connor Parker, played longtime Colorado Kodiaks. He even played over in France for Rizone, actually, because we're about to talk about Coupe De France. Played over in France for two teams. Lived in California, played with Saddleback, but yeah, so he has a Colorado Cup going on here, so we're going to be involved with that as well too, which is huge. But other than that, just coasting
Off
by,
season.
skating through the summer.
Yeah, off season, baby.
Off
Recover the
season.
body.
But let's talk about Coupe de France. I think the France Federation, every content creator in France, Lionel, my God, my
Yeah.
FMT, they just totally killed it at the Coupe de France. That was such
Yeah.
a sick event to be in America and feel like you were there by how much content they put out and the way the live streams were incredible.
Yeah. They always do a good job at presenting their product. And I thought it was really cool. I forget. I think it was I know we posted it was posted on our page too, but the far away picture with
Dude,
like the stands and that
so
was
nasty.
dude, it looked way, and then they did the overview of like the drone footage of the overview of the arena, way bigger than I imagined. Because usually when you watch these French games, they're in like gyms, like traditional gyms that we would have in like a middle school or something, and they're just plopping a rink in there. But that picture was nasty. It was packed too, which is awesome to see. Usually at international events, like it gets that packed, like at the World Skate Games and things like that, you'll get all the countries to
So
come and watch. But that was sick.
what I heard, and I know a couple people posted it at different places, but League U Elite posted it as well too, that they had over 2,000 spectators there live, which
Awesome.
no doubt, and I'm sure, and then online 4,000 over 4,000, people streaming. I know at one point I was looking online, it was like 2.6, going up to 3,000, and
Yeah.
like Roller's huge over there. I know a lot of people over here in North America's watching it, but that's like every stream they have on Saturdays for their league, they have, hundreds of people watching.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, the way that event they put on is so sick, especially having that final four, having the four teams play, and then you get to play that championship game Sunday. So, I know a lot of the guys go in and kind of go in for that weekend, just kind of see the other friends and stuff that are over there. So that's what's sick.
There's do you think because like a lot of these French towns are smaller, right? So I feel like they get a natural built-in following because it's something to do in these smaller cities.
Yeah, that's
And
what.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
think
why a
that
lot of eyes are on it.
you're 100% right. I think that's what, like, Joey D and Teed were saying when we were talking to them about Tres Cantos and every European player that we talk to. There's not a lot of, like, they have soccer in a lot of these European countries, which is pretty big. But the next biggest sport sometimes is inline hockey, or they're actually getting money put into it. So people are actually going to watch. It's something to do in the
Yep.
town because there's not a lot of, maybe things to do in the town. So I just think it's just the way, like, it's structured and set up. It's perfect. Here in America, it's hard just because you're competing with like so many other sports that are just,
Yeah.
it's a little different. But yeah, I
And
think they know their
just
bread
think
and
about
butter and they have it.
just think about ice hockey, how popular ice hockey, especially in like your area, my area, like ice dominates. I was talking to someone the other day and they're like, roller hockey season for us is March to August. You know what I mean? It's a short window, but there's so many other things going on. But they did they did a great job. I mean, I loved one thing I did like about the picture because I didn't want to not say this is the Crips jersey that you spotted out when
That
you
was
made the post.
hilarious.
That
Yeah.
was sick. Like little like because he played a Rattel. And then obviously Berger with the sick picture. So that's awesome that he was able to sauce that over our way. So shout out to him. But I thought that was hilarious that there was a Crips jersey in the crowd and you spotted it because it's kind of hard to see. Like it's
Yeah,
in the
but
bottom left
it's
corner.
like, yeah, it's right. Well, and yeah, it's right there in front of you. And there's a couple other jerseys too people are wearing. And I was trying to like zoom in to see if, there was
Like a name bar.
Taylor Kane or something. I know TK
Yeah.
played there. So, but no, just overall, the one thing that I really love and I think would be really cool to play on, obviously that small rink, but just the way the boards are set up. Like you have no glass around the edges, so it's a little
Yeah.
different. I think
Yeah.
that's just interesting. A lot of players and people I talk to here, think like, oh, dude, we would just dominate those teams. We would, shit kick them. I don't know. Like on that rink, it's a different game.
Different. Yeah.
It's a way different game, and you could see that, that championship game, Verzone versus Rattel. Verzone after Joey D scored that goal, I think that was 3-1, or they went
Yeah.
up. I
I
believe
think you're
so.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, that Rattel has that top checked. Rattel. Why do I keep calling them Rethel? It's
That's I think it's called Rattel. I think that's how it's actually
all
pronounced.
right. Well,
I
one
think
of
you're right.
those, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're just that team. They're so dominant and their experience. I think that's like the biggest difference, like that you saw is the experience come into play
Yeah.
in those big time games. Peter Skoland, Merrick Loscott, these players play in world championship games. They play at Palma Pro. These players play in the
Yeah.
biggest of the biggest events. So they do know how to
It,
shine.
Yeah, and you saw like once Verzone went up, Rattel pushed back right away, and even Verzone had a couple power plays, I think, in the second half, and they were able to kill them off, which is huge, right? Because in roller hockey, you get a power play sometimes, and it's almost auto.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it can be, but with the smaller rink, it's a little different because your box is a little tighter and things like that. But it was an awesome game to watch, honestly. Like
So
we were
sick to
text,
watch.
I had like 4 or 5 people texting me during the game, just like, "Yo, are you watching this game? Like this is a sick game, blah blah blah." So yeah, it wound up being a good final game. Probably the best two teams played in that final game, in my opinion.
Yeah. So with Villanova, one thing that I noticed, Corey Hodge was over there playing with them. So Hodge was over there, but no Robbie Valjean. So he
Yeah.
probably had ice or something like that. But Hodge is a big pickup too for that team. It does suck. You only get to see him play one. Obviously only one game because you just never know once they get going. But would be sick if Hodge is staying over there, and playing the
Yeah,
rest
it
of the
could
season.
be.
That's a huge help. That's on
Yeah.
that D end. No one eats more pucks.
No, guy
So
eats pucks for a living. So
yeah, so that would be huge.
and you said that in the last pod with like the Robbie Ballinger and like being there, like that could be one of those things that pushes them over the edge and maybe gets them that extra goal. And obviously with him not being there, that was another really good game. The other semifinal against the Spiders, like Rattel versus Spiders, like we kind of knew that one was coming. A team that kind of jumped up and outplayed where they should have been. And they did get a couple goals I saw here and there, but they're kind of just like those goals. You're like, we're up 7-0. We
Yeah, it's a
gave one
little
up. It is what it is.
yeah, it's a little
But
harder.
but yeah, good event overall. Good showcasing of the sport. I think, in my opinion, like just even the broadcast being like, obviously not everyone speaks French, but being able to watch it and how they did it with highlights and stuff like that, it was all really good.
Yeah, loved it. Loved it. It was sick. And just another huge shout out to the France League, Ligue Elite, Federation of France. Everyone involved, Lionel with my FMT, so many people that we kind of had this plan to work with them in this. Just be collaborator on posts and do different things. So I think just like the promotion of it overall was just huge. So huge
Yep.
shout out to Ligue Elite on that. That was awesome. One thing I just I want to say, we're watching March Madness. I am right now. What if
Game yet, Rob.
NCRHA? What do you think would happen if NCRHA did that? So you just take all the divisions, okay? You take the D1, D2, D3, and then I think it's the AA division now. And you did do it'd almost probably be like 30 or 40 teams,
Yeah.
nationals. What if you did a big bracket like that? And like maybe like you win, you move on, you lose, you go down to losers bracket and you play for like tier 2 championship.
I mean, that would be sweet if it was like a relegation process like that. Like if you were, let's just say you lost in your D2, right?
Yeah.
You have to play to stay in D2, or the D3 teams could jump you and you get switched down. Like that would be a sick idea. I think their biggest challenge is just logistics. Maybe A,
Yeah.
finding a rink, B, getting
Well,
those
I mean,
teams
I'm
out
just
there.
saying you could
So,
all do it at the national tournament.
oh yeah, it
You
would
know what I
have to be
mean?
at nationals. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
would
would be
be
sick.
your nationals would be one big bracket.
Yeah, just
I don't
play
know. I
all
think
the
it'd
way
be
down. That would be sick. Could you
yeah.
imagine that bracket? It'd be like,
Because think about it, Lindenwood, for example. Let's take Lindenwood for example. They pretty much play the same D1 teams all the time. So now, like
yeah.
maybe they're playing like a Boston College or they're playing like a Florida University, like a different type of team that they normally wouldn't, which would be cool on both sides because you're not playing. But obviously, competition's probably not there. But hey,
Yeah.
I think it'd be sick, March Madness style NCRHA
Yeah,
jamboree.
it would be sick. I mean, especially because it goes along with the college theme, right? So, kind of comparing apples to apples. But yeah, that would be a pretty sweet idea. And yeah, I think hit the nail on the head. Not much more to say about that.
All right, well, let's move on to the next one. Women's draft tourney. Let's if you want to get into this one.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fundraiser for the National Development Program on the women's side of things. So it's a 16 plus tournament. So it's basically women's and junior women.
So and
It's
there's two divisions, right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
two divisions exactly. So it's going to be Saturday, May 18th and May 19th in Irvine. So women, and I know how they do like kind of the teams is they have a bunch of sponsors for each team. So, you'll have, LeBate is a sponsor for one and so is a sponsor for another. I know women's roller hockey, does a team too. So I know that it's going to be cool because I think last year was the first year they did it. So now they did it a second year. So it's definitely grown. I know there's only a few spots left from the post they put up a couple weeks ago. So again, if you're listening and you want to get involved, definitely get your registration in or hit up the women's roller hockey account to get involved.
Yeah, so right now they've released 3 captains for the tournament. First one is Vicky Hun of the LA Kings team captain. So LA Kings are going to be a team, which is going to be pretty sick.
Yep.
You're also going to have for the second team mid of so is this year the mad
Mid-Atlantic.
hockey?
Yeah, so the Mid-Atlantic is just one of the districts within AAU. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's just their sponsor of it. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so in Miranda Lemus, she's going to be the captain. I know she does a lot of stuff
From the East Coast too,
East
to
Coast.
Boston area.
Yep.
Yep.
Third captain, the GOAT herself, Laura Vahantra of Ringster. She's going to be the team captain of that too. One thing that I think is pretty cool is you're going to probably have, I'm sure they're going to release more captains. And these captains are probably going to be a lot more of the pros that you're going to see, which is really cool because now these younger players and all different players get a chance to play on this team. But even more so, this is going to help, these two, Ali Era and Laura, they're part of Team USA for the women's part. So this is going to help
players.
Exactly. Find players, scout players, and just grow the game overall. So which is really cool. But yeah, those are the 3 captains released so far. I'm sure they're going to release more as the time goes on. So
yeah, I know. Obviously, Allie's probably going to be a captain for one of them as well. And then what's cool, so just because you did mention it earlier, with it being that there is a junior women's division too, so it's already grown. Because last year I believe it was just one.
yeah,
So pretty cool to see it going. And that's kind of one of the things we talked about with some of the ID skates before. They're trying to just do more events with Team USA involved just to get people involved with the program. And, maybe it's now or 5 years down the road, it doesn't matter, but they just want to get eyes on everybody. So the women's roller hockey doing a good job getting that tournament going and keeping it going.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We're going to get into, so first, skate talk. We're just going to talk some about skates real quick, but we're going to bring up, so first one, the Nike skates. So those are going to be the Nike J1s, which is by Just Do Hockey, just basically Just Do It Hockey.
Do it.
Yeah. So CJ Gamble, he's the man behind it. We're going to get him on the pod. But what we did is release the pod, posted some pictures of a prototype skate. And I know he's trying to work with Nike, and we'll let him get into that more of talking about that and everything. But it's a prototype skate trying to get, Nike back involved in hockey, inline hockey, whatever in general. So we worked with him for honestly probably like 2 months going back and forth on some just different things, pictures and how we should do this and stuff. So got a quote from him, did a little interview to just throw on the blog. But obviously you just see the skates. You haven't felt the skates, you haven't used the skates, you don't know how the performance is. But looking at the skates, I'm gonna say right now, looking at the skates, looking at everything, that's a 10 out of 10. They're flawless. Obviously the Nike design is so sick, but unreal.
Even like I love how, so getting into like the specifics, it looks like, and again, these are prototypes, it looks like it has a little bit of like a carbon boot to it too.
Yeah.
So like originally when you looked at the first like renditions of them, you're like, oh, leather, it's gonna be super like old school hockey skates were leather. So this has like a little carbon feel to it. The chassis, I
feel like that leather gives it that Nike feel.
It does though,
right?
100%. Yeah, I assume it's just wrapping the carbon boot. So because the part of it's exposed of carbon, so I assume the leather's just kind of like a layer over it. But the thing that I love most about them, honestly, I think the chassis are sick because they're red. And I think you don't really see a lot of colored chassis. It's usually everyone has, the high-low chassis that are just the mission one. So
the Zoom Elite on there, so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Dude, you have a little Nike on there, like discreet. They look like they're the Kryptonium chassis as well, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then you have the Nike wheels. I mean, those things just like look like butter. So
they do.
I just think from like head to toe, they're very, very clean, very well done. Obviously you don't know the performance yet, but just looking at those things, I bet you put those on the market, people are gonna buy them just to have. Like Drake's gonna have those in his living room just posted. Like these things are they're so nasty.
And like they put out like mock gloves and everything, and they look exactly like not the Fedorov gloves, the one that everyone
Yeah.
knows, like those ovaled ones, but they put out like the 4-roll version of the Nike glove, and like the white leather like looks sick. There was a, they have a black and white one, so, or red and white one, excuse me. So they look pretty sick. And I love how like even throughout their page they have a couple of pictures of like some of the old school Nike shoes and like what the skate is mimicked after. So I think that was pretty cool. So like the original ones where they had like the Fedorov 97s, they're sick too. The all white boot, which is, kind of a thing now with like Mission having the all white boot. A couple companies doing a tour made an all white boot. So yeah, they're nasty. Even the ice hockey skates, like the whole nine, it just looks sick. So I think it's probably like even guys at my local rink are asking like, yo, what's going on with the, the Nike stuff, the Just Do It stuff. So it's obviously created some, some hype in the industry, which is awesome.
It's huge. No, I can't wait to get my hands on a pair of those skates. That's all I gotta say.
For sure. Yeah.
But yeah, they're nasty. If you guys haven't checked them out, check it out. Just Do Hockey on Instagram. If you want to go onto our website, rollerdeadnews.org, and check out that blog, you can too. Yeah, they're sick. Check it out. Check out the work. Yeah.
just do it.
All right. Now moving on to the next skate, which I want to get your opinion on. I love Bauer. I know we've done some Bauer sent us stuff and done some things with Bauer and stuff. And I personally love Bauer. I just bought brand new, actually, Bauer skates the week before those skates came out, which kind of a little bummed out if you're hearing this, Bauer. The new skates dropped, the Vapor Hyperlight 2s.
Yeah.
The ice, the Hyperlight Ice 2 skates, right? With, just different chassis. Chassis and everything on it. Yeah. I like the skates. Top end skate, they are not as priced high as the Mission War with the Warhammer, they were called.
War Machine.
War Machine. Warhammer. The War Machine. But it seems like everyone is pissed off about this chassis. And I just want to know, hey, I think the Kryptonium chassis is awesome. I'm also not a fucking scientist, and I don't understand why everyone thinks that they're a scientist and oh, this is so much better. So Ant, I'm asking you, why is the Kryptonian chassis better than the one that's on there? And how can you tell me that it's other than the way it looks, why is it better?
So, all right, here's what I'll say. I have a Kryptonian.
Are you a scientist too?
No, I'm not, but I'll just go off of playing, experience.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, I have a Kryptonium chassis on my missions, my war machines, the M1s. And Warhammer chassis. And that chassis just broke off of a shot, and whatever, it is what it is. I had the skates a couple of years. It's bound to
That's gonna happen.
That's gonna happen. I've had the step down, just like the normal magnesium ones, and I've had them where they don't break, and I've had them where they do break. The biggest thing is going to be the weight. I think people would be pissed off about the weight because the Kryptonium chassis is significantly lighter than just like your normal magnesium one. So I think that's why people are pissed off, because it's a top end skate with I guess a little heavier of a chassis. But as far as durability and all that stuff goes, I've had to go either way. And how much is a couple ounces really going to mean, once it's on your foot anyway? You know what I mean?
Are you really going to notice? Is it really going to make you that much better of a skater? If you're already not that, if you're already not good, the skate's not going to make you better.
Right. So I really don't know. That was the backlash I saw, was mostly just on the chassis. Then you're always going to have idiots on there oh, these are roller hockey skates. They're not ice hockey skates. But at the end of the day, they're basically the same build minus a few features. I know the tongue on this one's different. They have a felt tongue, but I have the felt tongue on the Missions and I love them. They're super thick and they took a little bit to break in, but I like the felt tongue personally for me because it's got a little more protection than the thin tongues that you see on the other Hyperlights. So I don't know. I think people are just hating to hate because that's how it is. But
they're bored, man.
But I still think they look clean as shit regardless.
Yes. Yeah. One thing that I kind of annoying too, not annoying, it's just funny, is Mission's not putting out skates yearly. People know this. This has been a thing. Okay. It's roller hockey is a niche sport as is, where they're not, some companies just stop doing inline hockey stuff. So the more people chirp the new product that comes out, the less they're going to be enticed.
Great point.
To release
Great point.
So if you want Bauer Mission to keep coming around, love it. Show more appreciation to it.
A
Don't
great point.
fuck this skate, that, this. No, doesn't have my chassis. Dude, you're not buying the fucking skate anyways. It doesn't fucking matter. So
True.
take your fucking opinion and fucking go back home and stick handle
Yeah.
in the garage because
And
no
that's
one fucking cares. And
again,
I
it's
just,
just a reason to complain. That's
it
just
is,
giving
and I
people like
get it.
that's
Like,
it.
if it was a terrible chassis where it's like, yo, the skate's unbuyable, you're gonna buy the skate or you're not.
Right.
So, and guess what? You're gonna buy the skate and put another chassis on it, so you're gonna be supporting Mission no matter what. So why don't you talk better? Why I just don't get it. I just don't
Well,
see why there's so much room for hate instead of like love because Bauer and Mission's not releasing product anyways for inline all the time. So hey, let's maybe show a little like, love, and maybe these people are gonna be like, oh, okay, actually we do have a market for inline hockey.
like, no, it's funny. Like, I'm just
Sorry,
looking at
I
some.
just had to rant
No,
on that
no,
because I
you're
just think
right.
it's funny. Like, we have one of the last of the dying breed, Mission Hockey, that the one of the best, companies to ever exist in roller hockey, and you're gonna chirp the father of that company, the product they're putting out.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Like,
good luck. Yeah,
and then people are saying like on the comments, like bring back Mission. Like Mission's still around. What are
yeah,
people talking about? Like they're coming out with skates next year. Like this is like they were at State Wars last year with like drawings and mock-ups for people to like, hey, what style do you like? Like getting actual feedback from roller hockey players and kids and the whole nine. And like people are just haters are gonna hate. Like you give
yeah.
someone a reason to hate something, they're gonna do it. What I thought was like pretty cool that they did on the release is you see Matty Beniers and they had Trevor Zegras, like, just
That
doing a
was pretty
little video
sick.
shoot. Like it's
Yeah,
cool to see them on like wheels and stuff like that. And who knows, maybe they get interested in the future. You see, like, Pat Maroon, did it during his off season once. Maybe they know someone who's involved in the sport and they get interested. And that's what we talk about all the time. That's what the sport needs, more like NHL influence and, pros advocating for the sport. Right. So, and then you're always just going to get people in this comment section just saying crazy. Anytime we put up a post like this, whether it's the Nike one, which had a
yeah,
lot of positive feedback, and then you have this one that had some negative in there, like you got guys talking about like, oh, what kind of bearings are in there? What kind of this, that, and the third? It's like, dude, what are you talking about, man?
yeah.
Like,
Shut
come
the
on,
fuck up,
like
dude.
figure it the hell out. Like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? So, but yeah, again, like they got Lebeda wheels on there. They had the Millenniums, which are a classic wheel. They look fine. This skate looks great. I mean, personally, I think like the new Vapors and the new Hyperlight like models have all looked great the past couple years. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
kind of my 2 cents on it.
yeah.
Stop hating.
No, yep, can't agree anymore. All right. So leading on into the interview, which is perfect segment for the Wish Cup All-Star game. Like we said, we got the man behind MD Media, Colby Collier. Hope I didn't mess up the last name too bad.
I think you did pretty good.
Yeah, so we got Colby coming on in the pod. Man behind the Wish Cup. You've probably seen his stuff, MD Media, pretty much anywhere. Honestly, I first saw his stuff with Chavo. I think he went out to Barcelona, I want to say, with Chavo for the Team USA
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
And did some work out there with True Hockey, I want to say. I could be wrong, but yeah, he's
Good.
content creator, tournament organizer. But really just trying to grow the game of roller hockey. And with this Wish Cup, the All-Star game is one of the coolest events of the summer. I will say that. Just by who's there, the influencers, the stuff they're doing from them now, it is really cool. We talked to Colby probably about a couple months ago, wanting to get involved with it and what we can do. And he was just telling us the behind the scenes stuff, just like what these guys get. And you even see it still. Like I know like PJ still
Yeah.
uses like his true gloves he got last year
Oh
at the
yeah.
All-Star game. But these players, they're getting decked out in just this gear. And I know we posted that picture of the Wish Cup helmet sticker wrap, which was
Yeah. Decal
unbelievable.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm excited to. I think we're gonna be there. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty much easy to say, but
Lock it. Lock it in, baby.
lock it
Just
down.
like just like Duke over whoever you said
Duke
earlier.
over Vermont,
Vermont.
fucking put it
Lock
in
it,
money
baby.
line.
Fucking lock it.
7:10 Eastern time. I'll be drunk at 5:10. So,
Looking
but yeah. Anyways,
at some of the pictures. What I was gonna say is like I like how even in that All-Star event, they involve kids in it too. And it's just like one of those like feel good events, right? In general. Like the whole tournament's a feel good tournament, but the All-Star game specifically, a really good feel good thing. And then like you said with the influencers, it's just helping grow the game. And I think it probably does one of the best jobs at doing that. Like names, like team names and the collars of the jerseys, just a small shit that like when you go to a tournament, you're like, man, they're really taking care of us. And he does a really good job. Even when we talked to him last year about it, just like some of the different things he was doing and what's involved in it, like it was actually pretty impressive that how big this thing's grown. It's like tripled in size since like the original year. And he told us on when we were texting him about the ice hockey side of things too. So they're doing an ice event as well, which is cool. So now it's really kind of taking Nashville hockey by storm, honestly.
Yeah, and it's for a good cause for the Make a Wish Foundation, which is really cool. And we'll get into that with Colby, kind of explain like really the whole purpose behind it, which is a really cool story. But the one really cool takeaway that I see what this event really does, not just for does tremendous stuff for the foundation, for Make a Wish Foundation, which is really cool, and that's what overall what it's about. But it also introduces players to inline hockey, in a way where these influencers or people that it really mixes the best of inline hockey and the best influencers into one, which help grows the game and it gets more attention on it, which gets more attention on the Wish Cup, which it helps
Good for
everyone.
everybody. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good
so
for
I just
everybody.
think that's one of the really cool things. There's a lot of these guys that the influencers that do come to this event that might not know like the top players that play inline hockey. Now they see them and they're like, oh, like this fucking inline hockey is actually pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So.
You had like Kevin Engate play last year. Like
Well, yeah,
he's a
you have
big
like
influencer.
Nasher
Yeah,
on the bench boys,
yeah.
like the
Tons of
guys that have
guys.
been there consistently, but it's like, they are coming to the event. Like that should get the attention of, just, other eyes too. So it is cool.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's grown so big, and just bringing more people in, and then you're seeing guys like, I followed the one goalie, Mr. Heffy, right, and all the stuff was ice hockey stuff. Now you're starting to see him put out roller content, which is cool because, like you said, now it's just additional eyes on the sport, and like, oh, this guy plays roller too. What's this roller all about? They tune into this event, and they're like, oh my god, there's like Adam Ernie who played last year, right? Like you're seeing NHL guys playing this event, which is cool. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
grown from the influencers to the best players in the world. So it's cool.
yeah, no, there's the pro division is pretty good. It's pretty cool, fun pro division too, because you're in Nashville, you're having a good time. So I think some of
The guilty playing a little bit.
yeah, but it's like it's you get to have fun too, when you're there. It's a fun arena. That rink is sick. Both the two rinks, steel mat floor, got that overhang too, which is really nice. Nice breeze going through. So yeah, it's just an overall sick setup.
Yeah, and I think it's in June, so perfect time of year to do it too, where it's not too hot
And go to Nashville.
and go to Nashville, nice weather. So it's a perfect time of year to do it. I think just like even what we saw last year, we're like had a lot of FOMO. So it's good that we're going to be attending this year and get to go down to Nasty.
Nasty Cup. Yeah. Alrighty.
Nasty.
Well, I think it's perfect time to send it over to the interview.
Yeah, send it over.
Sending.
The first shift. All right, everyone, welcome back to another interview edition of the RDN Roller Show, where we're bringing you the latest stories from around the roller hockey world. Today, we have an exciting interview with none other than the man behind the camera for MD Media. MD Media has been creating content for roller hockey over the past several years, grabbing audiences worldwide. Not only has this man been showcasing roller artistically through the camera, but he's also doing it through his nonprofit tournament called the Wish Cup. We have a ton to cover in this interview, a ton, I mean. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Mr. Colby Collier. Welcome, dude.
Thanks, boys. It's a blast. I love listening in on the show. I'm pumped to just be a part of it.
I think we can all, agree with this. This is a long time coming for us, getting you on here. So, and I think really the first question, let's just kind of take it back. Like,
time out. We got to see where Colby's in. What, is this like the workshop? Is this the MD Media workshop or what do you,
boys, it's an absolute mess right now. Like all the camera gear's back here. This is my desk that I work at. And then let's just pull this off. All of this is like stuff that's prepped. I'm going to turn this the right way.
There we go.
Prepped for the Wish Cup. And then like all camera gear here and then lights and then more lights It's just
Gotta-
my office is an absolute wrek right now.
Yeah, that's like that's Nashville's Hollywood right there. So that's
Yeah.
indie media studios.
Yeah. You got
That's
like fat heads back there. You got better lighting than we do.
Oh yeah.
You're
Mandy had this one, like Ash finished his last year in mites, and then like she takes this to tournaments and holds it up during games.
Let's go. That's
Yeah.
amazing. You gotta love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thanks for getting a little tour of the studio.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we were saying, like, how did you get started in hockey in general? Like, did it start with ice? Did it transfer to roller, or was roller kind of the first like introduction you had to hockey?
Man, so moved to Nashville, didn't know much about hockey before then. Our very first game was a Preds and Wings playoff game, which like years ago, like that was the rivalry, and it was so much fun. I was hooked right then. Like I went to Play It Again Sports, bought all used ice gear, and then like joined a team, and I was terrible. I'm still terrible, but I was even more terrible back then. Introduction to roller. So I got connected with Shavo when he was playing in Huntsville to do a little bit of video work, and then it just came up that like there was a shoot that we needed to go do in Philly. It was doing like around the Rocky Steps, doing a shoot there. And that was literally the first time that I'd put on rollerblades. And like I had to follow this guy who's like one of the best roller players or roller skaters like ever.
Yeah.
And like imagine a guy that has never put on roller skates holding like this gimbal right back here with a full camera set up on it, probably weighs 30, 40 pounds, trying to follow him through the city. It was, guys, when I tell you it was a disaster, it was a disaster. But the footage came out great. Like I'm surprised I didn't. It was bad because like we would go down these sidewalks and I'm like, John, you got to carry this. Like he'd carry the camera to the next location and I would like barely make it to the next location. And then like we'd shoot whatever and then we'd go to the next place. So like, it was a mess, but it was so much fun.
Just so everyone knows too, right where they're talking about near the Rocky Steps, it is a zoo. Like it's a big, it's a big roundabout, right? And people fly through there because there's two major like roadway entrances. So people just don't give a shit and they fly around that. And he's talking about these side streets. These side streets generally are pretty crappy paved. Like,
oh yeah,
Philly's infamous for its pothole issue. So the fact, it's funny you say that because we did a little video during COVID with my buddy and he's played hockey his whole life, but even him, he struggled skating like up and down those roads. He's like, dude, no, I'm just gonna like meet you at the next location. He would just meet us at the next location. So I can't imagine like first time you're on like roller jets and like you're just trying to buzz around the city.
Roller jets, there we go.
It was brutal, just brutal.
Yeah. Well, hey man, made it out alive. So it's all
So talking about Shavo, you went to the World Championships in 2019 in Barcelona, correct?
Yeah, so much fun.
So can you like kind of like, tell us, a little bit about that for your experience being a content creator too, getting to see like, the best inline hockey in the world.
Yeah. So like first time I'd ever been there, traveling there, absolute mess. Like this thing back here, like the case that it goes in is humongous. Like I showed you guys the cases over there, gets lost on the way there, doesn't show up. I spent a couple hours in the airport and it finally shows up. Nobody speaks good English and like I can't understand anybody else. So like I'm struggling there. But the actual tournament, so awesome. Like we would literally I'd put my skates on, like sitting in my bed. I was a much better skater by that point. Put my skates on in my bed, like assemble the gimbal, roll out the elevator, down the boardwalk, skate up the beach directly to the rink, and like skate inside the rink, and then like just shoot the games. It was paradise for like what I do and like how I work. It was so much fun. Like getting to know John more, getting to know like Kitties, know like all those guys that are just like the face of roller and see them just battle through that and then take that championship. Just like one of the best trips of my life. So much fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably like you get to learn a lot about these guys too, like see a different side of them. Like a lot of people watch the games and you just kind of see that, but when you're there along like a journey with them, and you did an unbelievable job, and we're gonna have to link it of all the videos you did for that Team USA. It was like a movie. It was pretty sick watching, but Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure like you got to see a different side of them as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the bad thing is, like, that was like how many years ago? I look back on those videos, I'm like, man, I should have done this, or this would have been cool. Like, I'm always critiquing myself on it. But it's such a good experience to like kind of set the bar and like help grow that here in the States.
Yeah, I think we all have those moments where we're like, damn, we wish we could have did a little
Yeah.
more. Like I remember that specifically, like, during the downtime, which there's a lot of downtime in the tournaments because one, USA usually plays later because they're like the
Yep.
premier team to see. So you have the whole day to do stuff. But you and Chavo were like literally working the entire time, like putting
Yeah,
stuff
we
like,
didn't sleep. It
yeah,
was
like
like
crazy.
they came, like you just said, they came out of the late games, and it was like they'd come out of the late game, we'd go get dinner, and this is at like midnight, and then we get back to the hotel, dump cameras, and I would literally stay awake till like 4 or 5 in the morning editing to get that out. And then like we're in a new place, so like I'm not gonna go to bed, so like I gotta go see the city, and then like we would go. We literally like just put skates on and like went skated through the city. Like I followed him with a gimbal and like a trash stick and a green biscuit. Like it was paradise. It was so
That's
much
sick.
fun.
That's so
So
sick.
what a city to like first get to experience that into, because not only
Yeah.
was it a cool like setup with the rink next to the beach, but Barcelona is just like, from what everyone
Yeah.
says, it's an unbelievable place. So, and now you've done how many tournaments after that, right? You've done Narts. We worked together at tours a couple of years ago, right? So you've
Yep.
been pretty much there and back ever since. So it was like kind of like your coming out party, I would say, really for everyone, like really diving into what you and the MD Media Group do. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
so, obviously we brought you on here today. You got the sick helmet right behind you there. Great product placement for yourself there.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Wish Cup. It's
Yeah.
gained so much like momentum, popularity, everything. Can you just like kind of go back and kind of talk about how this idea came about, how it originated, and really just overall what the whole tournament's about?
Yeah, so for those that don't like know me and my family personally, my son Asher is a Wish kid. So like I think it was the 18-19 season, Make-A-Wish Middle Tennessee, the Nashville Predators and the Nashville Predators Foundation all got together and granted his wish. And like if you know the kid, if you follow me on social, like he's all day hockey. That's all he wants to do. Like his wish was to
Smile
be a
on a face
Nashville.
all time too.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's crazy. His wish was to be a Nashville Predator, so they signed him to a contract. He got to practice with the team. Like, keep in mind, kid's 4 years old at this point. Like he's out there like passing Phil one timers. Like it's like the whole thing was nuts. They gave us a suite for a Leafs game. He got to be in the team photo, so like just an awesome experience for him, for our family, and like just like you can't not something that money could ever buy him. So like we were looking for something to keep him involved in the game and for us to be able to give back to that chapter like financially. So they got to go grant other kids' wishes. So like, all right, well, let's put on a hockey tournament series. So we started planning it. The first year, so we do 2 events a year generally. We do one ice, one roller event. I think the first year we had like 4 teams in an ice event and then 9 teams in the roller event. And it is literally like it's becoming a full-time job now. Like we donate the proceeds, like we don't take anything from it. Um, and it's pretty much doubling in size in terms of teams every year. It's like it's a blast for our family. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, especially when the event comes around. But it's so much fun. Like, and we get to play hockey. Like, you can't really beat that.
So where was the first location for the Wish Cup for roller?
So for the first roller, was at an outdoor rink on the opposite side of Nashville, like concrete, like painted concrete, no cover. It was held over one day. We had like a rookie division and an open division, and man, like middle of July, Nashville, it was hot. It was so much fun. Like we got it done in one day. Second year, we were at Bethel's facility. It's like a one sheet indoor. Third year, fourth year, we were up at the new rinks in Hendersonville. And then this year is our 5th-year anniversary, and we're doing it at the same place up at the new inline rinks in Hendersonville. I say new, like they look brand new, but they're a couple years old, but it's still like an unreal facility.
Yeah, I think I remember I was there for like the opening and everything with I think it
Yeah.
was State Wars, and it is really unbelievable. And that was at the time where I'm sure now it looks a lot different. It didn't even have grass or anything, but it was
Yeah.
like it still is so
Yeah,
sick.
they've polished it a little bit now.
Yeah, and it was just even then it was just you could tell that like this facility was going to be top notch, and it's unreal. Two big rinks, steel mat flooring. You can't beat that. But when you first, were coming out with the Wish Cup 5 years later, did you ever anticipate it to grow this big? Like how it is
No,
with
not at
All
all.
Star event. Like this All Star event is like you were saying, like it's the talk of the summer. I see people, asking, how do I get in that All Star game? So did you ever
Oh man.
anticipate that?
No, like we were trying to think of something to help grow it um and like think outside the box. So like State Wars is an awesome tournament. Narch tours like these like we're not trying to compete with any of these guys because we can't. Like they're the OGs of these tournaments, but like we just want to put on a fun event that people look forward to coming to, and like we want to donate a bunch of money and like help grant kids wishes. So we're like, how can we grow this like with a punch in 1 year? So we're like, let's put on an all-star game. Like, let's see how it goes. And I think the first year, like we had John, we had Barber, we had one of the on the bench guys, and we had a lot of like pro ice players, some big female players that are big in the Nashville community, and like it was a hit the first year. And then like, as soon as that happened, we started planning for year two of the All-Star game, I guess. And like, man, it was like everybody asking, like, how do we get a spot in this? How do we do this? Like, it's crazy, like what it's turning into.
That's sick. And like kind of sticking with that. So one thing that I've noticed just from, how you cover the tournament in general, right? Is these influencers really interacting with kids,
Yeah,
families, and all that stuff. So I mean, it's got to be super cool for them to give back to the people who support their pages, their social media accounts. So with that being said, like, is there anything like one particular guy that like stands out that does a really good job at just like making sure that they interact with the fans, making sure that they're, really just showcasing the sport the best they can?
Dude, there's kids hanging on the cage for Nasher.
Yeah. And
yeah. It's
five was
there's
the one
there's
I was,
not.
yeah.
There's not, and I'll tell you why. We want to work with people that are the best in the community and the best at what they do. So if we bring somebody on board for our all-star game and, like they don't want to hang around and give autographs, or like they're turning kids away, like that's not a good fit for us. Like you
Right.
got guys like Nasher, Shavo, Pete, like Swaggy P, the on the bench guys. I'll tell you a moment that sticks out to me. We had the 6U AA championship. It was either last year or the year before. It kind of all runs together to me. And it was right before the All-Star game. And we put it there in hopes that we would have a huge crowd for those kids because they're the future of the sport. And the on the bench guys, Barber and John, all warmed up. Like they took warm ups with the 6U team. And like to see the look on their faces when that was happening, like I was coaching Asher in that game, and I was like these kids are not focused on this game at all now, but like they're
You're like
having
kind
the
of
time of
worried.
their life. Like this is exactly what we're trying to build. So no, like everybody that takes part in that all-star game is giving back their time to these kids and to help us grow something. So like I can't name one of them because they're all amazing guys. Otherwise, like that we wouldn't have them there. That's just kind of like the way that we operate things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you see I was just watching the All-Star game clip, and you see like all of them when Asher is out there, he's out there
Yeah,
dangling and stuff, and it is different, when you have, women's kids, all different types of people out there playing, and like you
yeah,
said, they all respect each other, and that it is really cool to see too. Especially like, getting a one-timer from a pro, like how cool is
yeah.
that?
Yeah, it's nuts. Like it's so much fun to watch and just to be a part of and know that it's growing the overall mission that we're trying to put out.
So do you
So
think like with this, with this rink in particular, like is it how much does it play a part in the Wish Cup? Like now it's kind of like in your backyard where now you can like really hold things where you don't even have to like you don't ever have to leave Tennessee. I don't know if that was ever, a plan, but how big is having this like new rink, for the Wish Cup?
it's huge. Like we work kind of hand in hand with the parks department up there. It's a city-owned rink. So like they're there cleaning up trash every night. And we even had, I think while we were running the All-Star game last year, some kids were messing around on the other sheet and there's a pane of glass that got broken and they were on it like that. And they have been so good to work with. We actually had to go. It's funny because like the number of days, the length of the tournament is growing. And from what we originally had last year to this year, it's almost doubled in size. So we had to go back in front of the parks board to get approved for it. And I was nervous thinking like, man, are they gonna like they're gonna shut us down? Like, is this getting too big? And they were so pumped that we were there still working with them. So it's awesome to see that like it's growing right here in Nashville.
Now, is that like rink, just kind of side note here, is that rink getting used like, aside obviously from tournaments and things like that? Are they having leagues there and things like that, like permitting weather?
Yeah, so they have youth leagues, they have adult leagues there, and then the facility is just open. Like you can go there and skate anytime you want, and then they leave the lights on at night until like 10:30 p.m., and then they cut them off.
Like the best outdoor hockey rink
Yeah,
experience you have.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like we and Robert go to like local parks, like with bad concrete and like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. The
That
kid, like honestly, our youth teams are spoiled by it because we had our first practice up there, and like one of the guys that run the rinks, like he heard about it at Pure Hockey. Like one of the kids walked in there and like drops what he's doing, goes to the rink and zams. They have this like actual zam for the rink that cleans the floor and clean the floor before our practice. Like
that's
that's the type
awesome.
of relationship that we have with them, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's I don't know if maybe it's just a Southern hospitality kind of thing, but the first one right opened, I think there's a lot of like precipitation on the rink, moisture and everything. I
Yeah,
think there was people from like 45 minutes away coming just to help
yeah.
blow dry it off. It was like you guys just have an unbelievable set of people there. With talking about the Wish Cup, the All-Star game, I do have a question. What's the and a lot of people will, have asked like what goes through the process of selecting like the All-Star, people with the All-Star game? I'm sure you get like DMs like crazy where it's like
It
now
is.
is
It's
like hard to handle. But obviously like is there a selection process you maybe have to like do in the future now or
It
um
is, and it's gotten so big. So we're doing it a little bit differently this year. Like we've had the last 2 years, like we've had that All-Star game, but honestly, like it was so packed last year that we couldn't get the guys that we really wanted to showcase as much ice time as we wanted them to have. So this year we're doing a Legends game. So it's going to have a lot of influencers, a lot of pro players, a lot of guys that are just integral in the Nashville hockey community taking part in that. In the middle of that, we're going to have an all-star skills competition. And like when you guys see the events for this, like it's going to be an absolute show. I cannot wait for people to see it.
so you can't any
I'll tell you this.
details?
So like you've got guys like Swaggy P, like Barber, like Shavo, who are those stick trick specialists, right? So we're gonna have them in a shootout competition, and we're gonna have celebrity judges. Think like All-Star NBA dunk contest, where like Shavo goes down, like sick goal, whatever happens, they're holding up the numbers to give him a score, and we get those scores and then continue going with it.
That's
That's
So
sick.
that's one of three events that we're gonna have for it.
Okay.
God bless, God bless the goalies in that
Yeah.
Yeah,
that skills
yeah,
competition.
Is
yeah. It's gonna be
there
a blast.
Yeah.
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Ant?
No, I'm saying it's definitely not going to be easy for those goalies. But I mean, I love what you're saying right now, just because you saw like something last year that you're like, man, I really want these guys to have more floor time. How can we give them more floor time, but not take away from the All-Star game itself? Because that, is different than a skills
They
competition,
give them the
obviously.
bread and
Right.
butter, what they're great
Yeah,
at, what they love to
and now
do.
you just added right
Exactly.
to it. So it's cool. So it's cool because not only this whole thing, what's awesome about it's talking about just kind of the growth and the path that it's gotten to where it is now, and you're still innovating, right? New ideas, coming up with things that are just making
Yeah,
it an overall better experience. And really, what it's for is for the kids at the end of the day, right? The
exactly.
kids that want to see Pavel Barber going out there doing a dangle, or see Chavo or Swaggy Pete doing that is, I think see that firsthand is so much cooler than even just watching it, over video the
Yeah.
entire time. So how excited is like Asher for that kind of stuff? Like he, Rob said it earlier, like he's always got a smile on his face, and he just seems like to just love playing hockey 24/7, like you said. So like how excited does he get like when he gets to meet some of these influencers?
It's funny, and I don't know if I haven't pinpointed it yet, but like he sees Philip Forsberg all the time. He sees Chavo all the time. He sees these guys all the time, and it's just like, hey, what's up? You want to go play? Like it's not like there's no like sticker shock. There's no like he's not blown away. He's just like, we're going to the rink, let's go. Like it's just like they've been friends forever, and he just wants to go play.
Made it. Yeah, he's made it.
Yeah, if that's what you want, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
now
funny.
he's on the RDN roller chair. Like
It's
where
funny, man.
he's
Yeah,
huge.
it's exactly what it is.
We're gonna have to get a Asher interview when we for the Wish Cup. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Is got another question about Asher too. When he's like like Ant was saying, he's around all these guys, anyone to get it's exciting. Does he get excited all year round knowing that this event's coming up? Like, is he like
he
talking
does,
about
and
this?
he plays hockey like all year round. He just finished his last year in mites, so like he's like in spring camp now. They have 9U AA tryouts soon, so he's going into that, and then in the mix he's got roller. We're actually headed to Denver Thursday for what's it called? Like Colorado Cup. I'll have to find what it is and send it to you.
Yeah,
But we're going out there for his last ice tournament of the year.
that's awesome.
But he's like he plays all year round, and he's just like, yeah, let's go. We're
That's
just another day.
that's great. So with the Wish Cup All-Star game, or is there anyone like new in particular that you can maybe like tell us if there is anyone new coming to the All-Star game that
Yeah.
you're seeing?
So let's go goalies.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the four goalies that we have. Um, Teed,
Ooh.
Stefano Cantilli,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick the goalie, social sensation,
Yep.
and I don't know if you guys know him, Bonesy, Fred's e-bug.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
those four are in the All-Star game, and then we've got a couple other surprises for the Legends game as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
The Bonesy guy, I just started watching him on YouTube because he has
Yeah,
another guy that he does the channel with, right? Sometimes like the other Preds e-bug, and they do a
yeah,
lot. They do a lot of cool stuff on there, like day in the life of an e-bug, like kind of
yep,
walking through like when they have game days and stuff. Seems like a pretty. I mean, it seems like Nashville. I know they say not to get too off top of it. They say Nashville has like a really good e-bug situation where
they
like
do. They're set.
of the game. Yeah, they get a sick situation going on there, and that rink is just awesome in general. So,
Yeah,
um, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think the Wish Cup sounds like I think this year it's it's gonna blow what is it, the socks off your feet or something off the water, whatever that. Yeah. I think this year for the Wish Cup is gonna be super exciting to see that All-Star game, that Legends, and then have the kind of like the slam dunk contest style, skills competition. I think that is gonna be super sick. Can't wait. I saw that you just released like a media team that's going to
yep,
be there for the Wish Cup. And a lot of those guys, looks like they're, they shoot professionally just as you do too.
yeah.
Can you expand a little more on like what they'll be doing, around the All-Star game or just the Wish Cup in general?
Yeah, so it is a fault of mine. Like I've taken on too much in the past. Like I can't shoot everything. I can't do everything, so I'm trying to delegate more like when it comes to these tournaments. But like we want to have the content to one, grow the Wish Cup, two, to grow roller, and like bringing in these guys to help do that has been on my bucket list for probably a year now. Like we want to have the best content out there, and I think we're bringing in the team that's going to do it.
Yeah, I was checking out their social channel. I love, I mean, I just love content creation and just like
Yeah.
watching like just videos in general and stuff like that. And I was just checking out their stuff. And it's there. It looks like it's gonna be, you won't have any problem with any highlights or anything. So you'll get to
Yeah.
fully do what you want to do and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him there.
So like with the content creation stuff, kind of floating it back here, like yeah, obviously you've been doing this for a while, your content's highly regarded. Like, is there anything specifically you find most enjoyable when shooting hockey content? Is it shooting, the like on the bench type of stuff where like you're like when you were following Black Ice during tours, right? Being in the mix with the boys on the bench shooting, or is it something more along the lines of like what you just released, like through the Wish Cup account? With like going through the city with like Chavo and the kids and like doing stuff that's like off the rink that's kind of a little more like creative.
I love it all. If if I'm having fun and whoever I'm with, whether it's like a Black Ice tournament or I'm going to Toronto to shoot with Barber, like if I'm having fun and whoever I'm shooting is having fun, like it's gonna reflect that in the videos and like it's gonna be great. So if it's hockey and it's content, like I'm there. Like I've worked with like with True, with Bauer, with Chavo, with Barber, with the on the bench guys, like you name it, and like I'll be there to do it as long as we're having fun. And it's growing the game, so like it's just like I just love doing it,
Yeah.
and it's all still just a side job for fun for me.
Yeah. And
Is
and
there like a go
you
ahead,
work
Andrew?
your bag, you work your bag off too. Like I remember at tours,
Yeah.
some reason you left me with the camera. I was like, this thing looks way too expensive for me to be operating. But like, and then you would like run down and then you would like help me close the live stream. I'm like, dude, like you were buzzing that entire time. So you definitely, you could tell you enjoy it because with how hard you work, actually, just as a testament to like how much you care for the sport and wanted to see it grow.
I mean, just
Yeah.
look behind him. Look at everything that
Yeah.
he's doing. It's is there I see the stuff that you've done with Pavel Barber. You've been to up in Canada, Barcelona. Is there a particular like shoot or a particular video that you remember the most, like that just stands out the most? Maybe it was you know some troubles you were just like going through, you just couldn't get a shot, and then it worked out. Is there a certain photo
I would
shoot?
say I would say there's two things that like when I was really getting started kind of stood out to me. Like when I met John and he was playing with the Havoc, I went down there just kind of like on a whim, didn't know the guy, and like it turned out great. And it was like the start of like she's one of my best friends now. Like we're great friends now. And then the same thing with Barber. The very first time that I went to shoot with him, he had no idea who I was and like just gave me the time of day to like I footed the bill, like just flew up there on a whim. He's like, "Yeah, I got a couple hours to shoot on whatever day." So like literally flew up there, footed the bill for everything, paid for the ice time, just got him on the rink, and then like that was the start to all of it. Like it just blew up, and it was like something great to look back on, just putting the time in and being able to get there.
Yeah, and I think one thing, like you were just kind of talking about, is I don't think the people, in social media in general, like realize how much time, effort, work that you like put into, away from your family, the money that you put into, just like how much you like really invest your time and how passionate you are about it. Your content really shows, like it really shows through that, and a lot of people don't, realize, like what a real like a content creator like yourself what you're doing, like what you go through. So here at RDN, we, huge kudos to you just because you are definitely, stick taps just because, like you were saying, footed the bill for a lot of those things and you're just there doing it passionately.
Yeah.
That's all it is passion.
Yeah, it's just for fun. Like the gear, the camera gear, like in any sense of like content creation, camera gear is expensive. Traveling is also expensive, but like I had a vision of what I want to put together and like we're there. And like now everything on top of it is cake. Like we get to do like cool photo shoots with this stuff and like it's a blast. Like we get to showcase so many cool things to people that like may never have even seen hockey before. And it's a blast. And I love doing it.
And especially in like your area, Nashville is like a growing area for hockey just because
Yeah.
the Preds have been good forever. And now they're having a sick little run as well. Like, and
Yeah.
they're staying
Yeah, they're
good.
on a heater
Right?
right now.
They're on a heater. So there's nobody wants to see them in the playoffs. I'll tell you that. But like, it's cool because it seems like you're in a perfect location for that to happen. And to have you there, I think Nashville in general is lucky to have a content creator like yourself there who cares this much about the game that can help grow it. And you're seeing it like firsthand with the Wish Cup, right? It's what, like triple, quadrupled in size from like the first initiation to now. So, you're doing a great job there to kind of, like Rob said, give you a little stick tap in that regard. But kind of looking ahead with the Wish Cup too, like what are the aspirations for the future of it? Is it to keep growing? Is it to, like Rob mentioned earlier, maybe like new location or anything like that? Do you have any, like, if you had a magic wand you could wave in front of it, like I want to get there one day with the Wish Cup?
I don't know. Like my wife has asked me that a lot. She's like, "What's your goal with this?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." Like
Smart
new
woman.
things, literally new things come up every single week. Like we just signed BioSteel as a sponsor last week. Like just all these things keep happening, and as long as it's feasible, as long as it makes sense for me, the tournament, and my family, like we'll do it. I would love to host a tournament in like another location, I know we're on East Coast, but like further east or further west, like as long as it makes sense and like the community or the support systems behind us that we can pull it off, yeah, we'll absolutely do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really beat Nashville. That's the tough part.
Yeah,
'Cause you got
Yeah,
the
you
rink,
got
and then you have downtown. So like that's like the new Vegas for people, right? I think it's better than Vegas
yeah,
in my opinion, but like it's the new Vegas for people. And like you have such a sweet facility there, brand new, still mat floor. We talked about it, right? So that's gonna be tough to beat, but it's cool that you still want to always try to like almost one up yourself every year,
yeah.
and just keep making it better and better because that's what it's there for, to give back to the people who are, supporting us, you, whoever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Like we just want to make this a more enjoyable experience so that like when we release our tournament dates or we open registration, like it sells out. Like we don't have to do anything. People know the product that we're going to put out and they're excited to come and like just be a part of it.
yeah. So it's gonna be one of our last questions. One that I kind of maybe you do have a certain player, maybe you don't. We're gonna take Chavo out because that's not fair. Chavo is your best friend. Sorry, this what the answer will be, and we're gonna take the influencers out of this too. Is
All
there
right.
a particular player that you have loved shooting or like would love to shoot more of? Just because you have fun watching them play, or just is there a certain player that you've like that's like my dream player to shoot, watch them play or something like that?
Have you guys seen that video of the photographer that was working with Tyreek Hill?
Yes,
And like they did that
yep,
backflip and then like he got booted and
yeah,
now he owns his own media company, right?
yeah. It's like
So like
F2 Media, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I would love to work with like really any of the Preds. Like I have a soft spot for Forsberg just because of like his relationship with Asher. Like I would love to do like some stick trick video with him, but like any of those guys, man, like the Preds have such a soft spot in my family's heart. Like it would just be so much fun to get to do.
And
yeah. That would.
I would say he had a scrap the other day, maybe a little.
Yeah, I
He
looked
fought
at
a
I
fighter.
was
I was
like
like,
half
yeah.
watching the game. I was half watching the game and I look up and Phil's fighting and I'm like, what's happening? Like
And he
what
fights
what's
fighter. He's
what's
like a
going on? And then
Yeah,
he
I
scored the
don't.
game winner.
monster, and he did good, and he was doing
Yeah.
well at the beginning, honestly. So
Yeah, I didn't expect him to scrap. And then Sider's a big boy too. He
Yeah.
was chucking him, but he Forsberg is he's not a fighter. I never thought of him like as a fighter like that, but
Yeah.
you gotta grind it out. It's like you said, scores the game winner. Got to do what you got to do. Team guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and he,
so I
he's
think
got.
that would be a pretty cool like a dream shoot like
Yeah.
player like that. But talking a little bit about content too. What's your views on that situation with like the Tyreek Hill kind of thing that happened to that content creator?
I don't know. I don't think I'm sure that there's more to the story on both sides that we know. But the guy is like a magician with the camera. So like
Yeah.
he gets fired from that job So what? There's going to be 10 more people lining up ready to sign him. And I think all it did was make him, what's the word I'm looking for? Like make more people want him.
Mhm.
So like
more
yeah,
desirable.
it stinks that it happened, stinks that he got fired, but like who cares?
Yeah.
Like there's people lining up to hire him.
He,
Yeah.
he probably did himself better. It's like almost like the
Exactly. Yeah.
no press is bad press, right? Like, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
awesome. I would say, listen, well, we've taken up a decent amount of your time here today. We do appreciate you coming on. I want to take something. I like to show Hot Ones a lot. I like watching it. I'm going to take something from them a little bit, how they wrap up their shows. So Wish Cup's coming up. So take the last couple, seconds here, a couple minutes here, whatever it may be, and just tell us as much information you want about the Wish Cup dates. Is there spots still available? Anything like that. The floor is completely yours to kind of wrap this thing up for us.
Yeah. So Nashville, Tennessee, June 1 through 11. The wishcup.com block schedule is on the website. We have at least a spot open in every division. Some are getting close to being closed because we cap the amount of teams. We don't want a situation where you're playing games at midnight. So we cap all of the divisions so that you get an enjoyable time, you have an enjoyable experience. And if you want to come to a tournament that, like, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have a blast at it. We're not trying to compete with your State Wars narcs because we don't want to. Like, those guys are the OGs of the field, and like I enjoy going and playing their tournaments. So come to Nashville, have a great time. Come watch the All-Star game. The All-Star game will be June 1. We've got some really cool surprises, some celebrities that are going to be in the game, and it's going to be a blast. I'm excited about it.
I mean, you're getting us pumped just saying that was perfect. I mean, there's not a better way to end that podcast than what you just said there, because you see me and Rob, we're both cheesing hard right now. So, like I said, we both appreciate it. We could probably do 3 episodes with you just talking about content creation. There's so much stuff I want to get into, but again,
we'll schedule the next one during the tournament when you guys are here.
Perfect.
Boom, bomb dropped. So perfect.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate you hopping on the interview with us. It's going to be an awesome event. So everyone, like you said, make sure you check out the Wish Cup and then and follow throughout the whole weekend, because you do a great job at kind of showcasing what's going on the day-to-day basis.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm pumped.
Thank you, Colby. We'll see you later, guys.